Hello everyone, this is a bit of a diversion this time because I want to talk to you about sort of like a hobby within a hobby that I've developed, which is that of photography. Now you'll notice this boat here, it looks a bit like Scuffy. In fact, it's the first scratch-built boat I ever made, and it's 30 to 33 years old, fits in that. It's a little bit bigger than Scuffy because I didn't get the scale quite right, but this one is as tough as nails. And here's the original top that I used to have on it. But it's got another job now. It's my camera boat. And I've just had enormous fun with this because I love anything to do with the water, and I really like seeing boats on the water. But I very quickly realized that the best shots you can get of boats on water is actually from another boat, which is actually right down at their level. So what I did with this, when I first started this idea, I built under here a aluminium framework so that by just putting some extra PVC fittings on here, I could fit a little camera to the front. Now this camera is an Intova diving camera. I mean, I used to be a diver. I probably could be again if the weather would get better. But this little diving camera is fantastic because basically it can go right underwater, it can come up, and you get the really low down shots. So I started putting that and using that with the boat, and then later attached another camera to the top here. Now I'm going to show you how these work in a moment, but the best part about this was, I think, the first boat that other than the U-boat where I started with Arduino, because I realized very early on that when you sail a boat and at the same time you're controlling a couple of cameras, it's pretty hard. It's very difficult to do it because you tend to look at the other boat that you're trying to take a shot of and not this. So I built into this a compass with the intention of, and it works, of setting the boat on a course, putting it in automatic, and then just leaving it. In fact, I can control the cameras while the boat holds a course. And if I'm on my own, I can get this set up, holding a course and bring another boat next to it. So it's all pretty good, really. And a lot of the pictures that you see on my webpage are done just like that. So I'm going to show you how it works because it's really quite interesting. So while I'm talking about it, this boat's had a few close calls. Before I set it up as a camera boat, I was I had it running in a small lake in which there were cliffs, and I had a guy running it. I thought I could trust him, but eventually he thought he was sailing another boat, and he slammed this at full speed into a rock. And I've got a picture of it here. It looked pretty worse for wear, but in fact it's really solid. And as I've said before, I like making boats that don't die easily. And I'll tell you another story in a moment or two, which is really great, and I'll give you a link to a fantastic video. But first of all, the way this works is this. We turn it on. There's a couple of little relays in here. There's 4 relays that are controlled by the Arduino. Obviously, we just have the speed, forward, reverse, and the rudder. I don't think you can see that from where you are. But I now just use the trim tab on here to control each of these. Now this is all from one channel, and when I pull this all the way around, I've got the bow camera moving around. Now I can get this into any position I want. It's really quite good. And if I pull this little trim back and push this forward, I've still got rudder control, but if I let go, it's now in auto, and not that you can see this all that well, but that little rudder back there will control the boat. Pull that back and I've got full control again. So it's really good. Now I did think, talking about Arduino, it might be a great idea to build it in such that with the compass, I could make the cameras look at a particular bearing all the time, and no matter where the boat goes, it would look at that bearing. It's a very nice idea and I can do it, but honestly, this is very difficult to manage as it is, and that would actually make it worse. It will be a distraction, because when you're on the water taking pictures, you want to be fairly quick, you want to be able to move quickly, you want to be able to get things going. Now I want to show you this. This is, by the way, I don't know if you can see that, that's the compass. Here is the remote control for the Intova. That just sits on the front of the boat. If this breaks off, this will hold it. I've never really had any concerns about it not working. But I just really wanted to show you this. This is just a little bit of submarining technology. There's a little O-ring in there. Oh, that's come loose. There's a little O-ring in there. And the reason for that is so that when I've sailed this, there's another O-ring in the top that stops the water getting in. But water has a wonderful way of getting its way around things. So when I bring this boat in, I take this off and just let the air get to it until the next time we go sailing. Then just pop it back on and it works a treat. Okay. Now you'll also notice if you look at the video of the U-boat and the lake that there's some great underwater shots. The way I got that was simply to reverse this, and obviously to reverse the software in the Intova so that it's looking the other way around. But that way I've still got control of it underwater and I can point it wherever I like. That's not so easy either. It's really quite an interesting process to get this working nicely. Okay, so I really enjoy filming my own boats and other people's boats. It's gone really well. One of the things I like to do is slow them down a little bit. So obviously I copy the movies onto the computer and slow them down, and I find 40% is about right. One of the things that I've wanted to do in buying these cameras is to make sure that they'll take at least 60 frames a second. Because if I do and then I slow them down to 40% of that, what I'm actually getting is 25 frames per second, which is in fact the same as the standard PAL system. So that means I can get a very nice speed on the boats. It's not too noticeable, but it really makes a difference when you look at model boats. Just that little bit slower. It's fantastic. So on the bottom of this page there is a link to a whole lot of movies that I've taken. So please enjoy that. One in particular I have to tell you about, which is a collision I had with a battle cruiser. This is for real. I went down to visit this other group that have mainly warships, and it was a really quite a big lake, quite a substantial lake, and there was one guy there who had a battleship. I think it was the Queen Mary. And he's hammering around on this thing, and I was getting closer and closer and taking shots, and suddenly found myself right in front of him, and I got hit really, really hard. So it's a really interesting little movie. That's not the only one I've done like that, but this thing's really tough. It takes the blows. It's really pretty good. But I've interspersed that with another movie where you've got some great shots and some great music, and I hope you like it. So please have a look at that. That's a really special one that I've done. The worst one other than that I've had is where I've tried to take movies of yachts. Ships of the line can be very dangerous because you can sail next to a yacht or a big four-master and suddenly there's a blast of wind, and if you're in the firing line you just get hit. There's just no way, it's not going to happen. So that's it. So look, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.